Breaking news from the Emirates, and this could be one of the biggest transfer developments of the entire summer. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal appear to have made their intentions extremely clear. The Gunners want a world-class striker, and Julián Álvarez is still sitting at the top of the list. But while Arsenal push for the Argentine superstar, Victor Osimhen has emerged as the major alternative, meaning Arsenal could now be working with a very simple transfer strategy. Álvarez first, Osimhen, if the Álvarez deal becomes impossible. And according to the latest reports surrounding the situation, there has been another major development in Arsenal's pursuit of Álvarez. Reports are circulating that Mikel Arteta has made direct contact with the Atlético Madrid forward to convince him that Arsenal is the right destination for the next stage of his career. While that specific direct contact claim has not yet been independently confirmed by Arsenal or Atlético Madrid, the wider picture is becoming increasingly interesting because Arsenal's interest in Álvarez is very real and remains one of the major stories surrounding the club's attack this summer. The message from Arteta would be straightforward. Arsenal want Álvarez to become one of the central pieces of their attacking project. The Argentine is not simply viewed as another striker who can add goals. Arsenal see a player capable of linking midfield and attack, pressing aggressively, creating chances, scoring himself, and operating in multiple attacking positions. That versatility is one of the biggest reasons why Álvarez has become such an attractive option for Arteta. The Arsenal manager wants his centre-forward to contribute beyond simply standing inside the penalty area waiting for crosses. He wants movement, intelligence, technical quality, pressing, and the ability to combine with the likes of Bukayo Saka, Martin Ødegaard, and Arsenal's other attacking players. And this is where Álvarez becomes particularly interesting. The Argentine already understands what it takes to compete at the highest level. Before moving to Atlético Madrid, he spent 2 seasons at Manchester City, where he won major trophies and experienced Pep Guardiola's demanding football environment. His time in England also demonstrated that he can operate as a central striker while contributing from deeper areas and wider positions. Since moving to Atlético Madrid, Álvarez has continued to establish himself as one of Europe's most exciting forwards. But his future has become one of the biggest talking points of the summer. Arsenal have been monitoring the situation closely, and recent reports suggest the Gunners remain firmly interested despite Atletico's resistance to selling. Atletico have repeatedly indicated that Álvarez is not an easy player to take away from Madrid, and reports have suggested that the Spanish club could demand a fee exceeding £100 million to even consider a sale. That price is exactly why this transfer is so complicated. Arsenal may be prepared to make another enormous investment in their attack, but Atlético Madrid hold the negotiating power. If Arsenal want Álvarez, they may have to convince Atletico that a massive financial package is worth accepting. And there is another factor that could change the entire situation: the player's own preference. Arsenal's hope is that if Álvarez becomes convinced by Arteta's project, the player could help push the negotiations forward. That is why the reported direct conversation between Arteta and Álvarez is potentially so significant. If the player genuinely becomes enthusiastic about joining Arsenal, the Gunners could have an important advantage when negotiations become serious. But Arsenal are not putting all their eggs in one basket. Behind the Álvarez operation, Victor Osimhen is increasingly becoming the alternative. This is not a completely new name for Arsenal. The Nigerian striker has been on the club's radar for some time, and the latest developments have brought his name back into the centre of the transfer story. Reports this week say Arsenal have held talks regarding Osimhen, including discussions with Galatasaray, and that makes this situation fascinating. Arsenal appear to be looking at 2 completely different but elite striker profiles. Álvarez offers extraordinary technical quality, movement, versatility, and the ability to participate heavily in Arsenal's combination football. Osimhen, meanwhile, brings explosive pace, physical power, aerial ability, and an extremely direct goal-scoring threat. He is the kind of striker who can stretch defensive lines, attack spaces behind defenders, and turn half chances into goals. For Arteta, either player could represent a major upgrade in the centre-forward position, but there is a growing indication that Álvarez is the preferred option. Recent reporting has specifically described Arsenal as prioritising Álvarez over Osimhen, while Osimhen is being considered as the alternative if Arsenal cannot get their first-choice target. That means the next few weeks could become a direct battle between 2 enormous transfer operations. Option 1, Julián Álvarez. Arsenal continue negotiations and attempt to convince Atlético Madrid to sell. Arteta personally sells the project to the player. Arsenal present their ambitions, and the Gunners attempt to find a financial package capable of satisfying Atletico. Option 2, Victor Osimhen. If Atletico refuse to negotiate reasonably, or the Álvarez price becomes unrealistic, Arsenal could turn their attention towards Osimhen and attempt to reach an agreement with Galatasaray. But even Osimhen is not going to be straightforward. Galatasaray have reportedly warned Arsenal about their position, with club president Dursun Özbek indicating that Osimhen is not simply available for a cheap deal. That means Arsenal are potentially facing two huge negotiations for two elite strikers. And this is why the situation should not be described as Arsenal simply choosing between two random targets. The club appears to have a clear hierarchy. Álvarez is the dream. Osimhen is the powerful alternative. The objective is the same. Arsenal want another world-class attacking weapon. The timing is also extremely important. With the transfer window moving towards its final stages, Arsenal cannot spend forever waiting for Atlético Madrid to make a decision. If Álvarez becomes available at a realistic price, Arsenal will have to move quickly. If the Spanish club refuses to compromise, Arsenal need another solution ready to go. That is where Osimhen becomes extremely important. Interestingly, the Osimhen situation has already become connected to Arsenal's wider transfer activity. Arsenal have reportedly discussed Osimhen with Galatasaray during conversations that also involve Arsenal players Gabriel Martinelli and Ethan Nwaneri. So there could potentially be multiple layers to the negotiations. For Arsenal supporters, the biggest question now is simple. Who will Arteta get? Will it be Julián Álvarez, the technically brilliant Argentine forward who appears to be Arsenal's preferred target? Or will Arsenal make the blockbuster move for Victor Osimhen and bring one of the most physically dominant strikers in European football to the Emirates? At this stage, Álvarez appears to be ahead. The latest reports continue to put Arsenal in the race, while Barcelona's pursuit has also faced difficulties, potentially giving the Gunners more room to maneuver. But Arsenal supporters should remain cautious with the word confirmed. There is a difference between Arsenal actively pursuing a player, the player being interested in a move, and a completed agreement between the clubs. As of today, there is no official announcement confirming that Álvarez has agreed to join Arsenal or that Atlético Madrid have accepted an Arsenal bid. What we can say is that the pressure is increasing. Arsenal want a striker. Álvarez remains the preferred target. Osimhen is being discussed as the alternative, and Mikel Arteta appears determined to make sure the Gunners do not finish the window without adding another elite attacking option. Imagine the possibilities. Julián Álvarez leading the line at the Emirates, combining with Bukayo Saka, Martin Ødegaard and Arsenal's creative players. Or Victor Osimhen attacking crosses, running behind Premier League defenders and bringing the kind of explosive physical presence that can completely change the way Arsenal attack. Either signing would send a huge message. And that is ultimately what this transfer race is about. Arsenal have already shown that they are prepared to spend heavily to build a squad capable of competing for the biggest trophies. Now, Arteta wants the final attacking piece that can take this team to another level. The message coming out of the transfer operation is therefore becoming increasingly clear. Julián Álvarez first. Victor Osimhen if Álvarez cannot be done. One of these two superstars could become Arsenal's next major attacking signing, and if the latest reports about Arteta's direct approach to Álvarez prove accurate, the Arsenal manager may now be taking matters personally. The question is no longer whether Arsenal want an elite striker. They clearly do. The question is, which superstar will be wearing the red and white when the transfer window closes? Álvarez or Osimhen? Arsenal fans may not have to wait much longer for the answer.